far as the salve goes.
Everybody get your weed.
Did you know that most of the weeds growing in your backyard can be used to make herbal medicine? Ellen Kamai, a professional member of the American Herbalist Guild and a certified holistic nurse, identifies 3 common plants and their uses.
You take this off and open it up, and there's little black seeds in there which are hot and spicy, which is a mustard. Wild mustard can be used as a flavoring agent in food. It's called garlic mustard. Another wild plant that we looked at was the choke cherry tree. If you think about it, all cough syrup throughout time, especially in ancient times, and even now they call it cherry-flavored cough syrup, was actually made out of active constituents that are in the cherry bark. And then I already mentioned dandelion. Almost everybody can recognize a dandelion. Every part of that plant is edible and medicinal, including the flower, the leaf, and the root. In fact, the root is excellent to make a coffee substitute.
Today, they're at Old Bethpage Restoration Farm to share this knowledge with Long Islanders.
Either the white or the yellow honeysuckle, and whether open or not, we can use them.
Everywhere you are, there are plants that you can use for food and medicine. Think about it. If you live a place where there was at any time no grocery store, that means somebody was able to gather their food growing right outside, the wild food. In the fall, this gets a beautiful yellow flower.
Then the tour begins, where they walk through the farm identifying different plants and their healing properties. Kamai says the best way to decipher what each herb is to smell it.
You squish it and smell it. What we have to be very careful about, however, is that plants have poisonous lookalikes. So you need to go slow. First start with a plant you know you can recognize, let's say dandelion, that there is no poisonous lookalike. So do not go outside and just grab any plant and use it for food and medicine.
This is Bridget Safildi's 3rd guided tour. She says they are a great way to reconnect with nature.
What we have around us is something that we should all be more aware of. I think then we would be more inclined to treat our environment with respect. You know, make sure that you recycle, pay attention to just the decisions that you're making in everyday life and how that can be of impact to what we have going on around us. Just as a family, I have 2 little boys, and they love being outside, and I can't wait until they're a little bit older to take them on walks like this. We go on hikes now, and being able to identify certain plants is cool for them, you know? I think it's good for everybody to just get outside and be at peace with nature.
Here's some wild cherry.
After the tour, Kamai and Zimprion held a workshop on how to properly skin, cut, and chop medicinal herbs to create either a cough medicine or relaxant.
This right here is a cough syrup. So there's probably about 12 different herbs or variations of an herb in here. We found cherry trees, wild cherry trees, and peeled the bark from those. We found comfrey plant and used the root of that plant. We used plantain leaves and actually just used the leaves from that. So every part of the plant is useful. You just have to understand how to use it and how to identify it properly.
When you're trying to make a formula, you try to design the formula into different parts and the activity of the formula. So you would choose the main herb would be the chief herb. That would have the most medicinal ingredients and would probably have the chief actions. For example, if you're making like a skin salve, maybe the chief action is actually to heal the skin and to promote regeneration of wounds. Then you have the deputies, which kind of have reinforcing effects. Maybe in a skin salve, the deputies would draw blood flow to the area to heal. They would act as a vulnerary to shield the escape of moisture and moisturize the skin. And then you have your drivers. These are herbs that kind of move the formula particular area. Usually you don't use a driver in a skin formula, but in an internal formula, you may want to direct it to a particular organ. If we're making a cough medicine, you want to direct it, of course, to the lungs, maybe the sinuses, the throat. So that then you use a driver, and traditionally drivers would be like ginger, cayenne, and things like that.
So here, you can take this one and you'll use it for your medicine.
Although Kamai has never given her children pharmaceutical medicine, she says for those families who have, it's important to consult a doctor before consuming herbal medicine.
There is something that happens which is called supplement-drug interaction. And that can be dangerous. Like, for instance, we collected valerian, which is a sedative. If you're already on a pharmaceutical sedative or anti-anxiety, and then you take a natural root that also is a sedative, you might become too sedated to the point where it's dangerous. So if you're going to use pharmaceutical drugs and herbs together, you do need to speak to a provider, a healthcare professional who understands any possible interactions.
To learn more about herbal medicine or for more information on the next guided tour, go to naturalnurse.com. For a Push Pause and Old Bethpage, this is Valerie Gordon.